well, how does bacteria get off of us? Like, you guys are telling us to use hand sanitizer and wash our hands all the time. So I'm like, okay, well, how do I test if bacteria goes off? And they're like, well, you need to go wash your hands. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, this dot, that's it? Well, that's not cool. And I'm like, yeah.
That's because I swabbed my hands after I washed them, kids.
Yeah. I'm like, and they're like, oh, I'm like, look, guys, I really do know how to wash my hands. My plate's clean. They're like, well, that's lame. We don't even have nothing to write. And I'm like, wow.
During COVID, wash your hands.
I'm practicing when I'm preaching. I'm like, I got a whole hand washing poster in the back and I got clean plates. You should be proud of me. That's what we do as scientists. Whenever we have a problem, we create a question, we design the lab, we design the investigation, and we test it out.
Figuring out how to do science, true with fidelity to the next gen, but having to do so in a hybrid setting.
I created the lab pretty much at my house. I would literally set up the test tubes. I would show the kids the whole setup. And then, I literally would hold up the test tubes, okay, what color is this? Is it present for starch? Is it not? So the students who were in person were the eyes of the classroom.
How many of them thought that at this point in their lives, they would be doing science experiments in their own homes and kitchens?
I am not a spokesperson for Formative, but honestly, after this year, I would keep using it. You go to nextgenstorylines.org. They have some literal full entire units that are already completed.
Making it work isn't really the goal. Let's hold on to these things that did work really well and that worked better than maybe we did things last year, and keep those as we move forward.
Kids had a lot of questions about vaccinations, especially particularly with COVID. It is not like, a lot of the other vaccines that they know about. So we had a full 30-minute session where they asked questions about vaccines. And to me, I'm their person. And so I answered as much as possible. And one kid was like, you could teach a whole class about COVID. And I was like, I could.